So in this little run through, I just wanted to go through what things look like. This is October 12th in Northern Virginia, and probably one of the last days near 70 or so that we're going to have. So obviously the front porch and this area gets almost pure shade the entire day, the whole season, except for right over here, which by no coincidence is where I have the Tarina, or Tarinia, I forget exactly how to say that, planted here, because they can tolerate sun or shade. And I like these things quite a bit, right? There's two kinds actually. This darker, obviously this one's doing a heck of a lot better than the other one. This coleus seeded itself. I didn't plant this here. It's left over from who knows when. It shot up a couple of months ago, and there it is. Obviously I've got some weeding to do here for the fall. If you're wondering what that is, these are the pansies I'm going to put in for the winter, not here but out in front. Dwarf hosta, that's kind of on its way down for the year. Everything else here, well, there's a hosta. That one is supposed to be white, very white. These both just went in this year. That one has a stripe, a light yellow stripe down the middle. So we'll see what that looks like next year. So all the rest of these are impatiens. Now these are standard bedding impatiens, the coral, the pink here. New color I saw this year, that's kind of cool. And even newer is some of these almost kind of look like a little rose. This one, and this one. 3 different colors there. And they did just fine. I mean, it's not blooming all that much. But I wanted to kind of show off. Get rid of this stuff here. Always weeds, right? This little thing right here. I gotta make sure that you can see this actually. See where the camera is pointing here. This is a hardy cyclamen, and I found these a bunch of years back, and said that, you know, this one happens to bloom, you know, start blooming in September, so the blooms will all come up first. The foliage comes up later, and these are pretty cool foliage actually. See the leaves? That's really cool. They're still coming up. You can see them all. You know, you get more and more and more, and these will literally stay there till next spring. So they'll look almost like a kind of ivy, this particular one. Then there's multiple kinds of this. See right here, I actually haven't even planted these ones for next year yet. Matter of fact, I hope they still do okay. They're getting kind of dry, but kind of cool, isn't it? Look at that, kind of purplish, whatever. I mean, it looks just like the stuff you buy at Christmas, you know, with the blooms this big. But it's kind of cool to have that show up late in the year. All right, so that's this piece here. Over here is the Japanese maple, which has gotten quite a bit bigger over the years. This is a portulaca that is now not hardly blooming because it just doesn't get enough sun. When it does bloom, it's kind of a hot pink. Okay, but it's on its way out for the year. There's not much I can do there. This is almost impossible to grow anything, and both of these are perennial ground covers. This you've seen in my begonia video right here. So either this weekend or the following is when I'm going to propagate. So I'm going to start cutting the leaves off to do that. Just run down this to see what it looks like. So they're a little bit bigger than when I made the video. This is a deeper green. I mean, this is really... So it starts out looking like that, you know, that leaf right there. And then it fades to that. Okay, but this one starts out looking awesome and stays looking awesome. So I guess in the fall it's just doing a lot of its blooming. So everything you see here, I am going to propagate. You know, see, these have huge leaves. So does this. You know, I mean, this is starting to crack a little bit. It's a really big, you know, giant-sized leaf here. I mean, I got a pretty decent-sized hand, right? This guy. Here's my Persian shield, or one of 2. This one's not doing as great as the one I'll show you in the front in some other video. new kind of New Guinea impatiens. Just the bloom is got some frill to it. All right. They did just look like that all summer. Cool looking coleus, got some blooms on it. Okay, real bright. And there is that hydrangea I just made a video out of. Now that's almost completely crimson in a lot of places. That thing is just amazing, absolutely amazing plant. You can see it's got a little bit more lighter color. See, the sprinklers just did their thing. Three New Guineas. This is my favorite color. Another begonia, another cool color on that one. There was another one here that didn't do so well. Okay. This section right here, a very tropical looking New Guinea with the yellowish white leaves. One of my favorite coleus. I like the dwarf ones that don't get carried away. This really cool looking one. This is an Alstroemeria. I have several of these in front. This is the one yellow one, very hardy. And see, this is what I mean. This is too big, this coleus. See, here's a sprinkler head right there. It can't hit anything. It just gets blocked by these giant coleus. So you really got to pay attention. Oh, look, Mr. B. That seems to be the last bees we get in here in Northern Virginia into October. Well, just saw a real tiny one there. But anyway, I still got plenty of the big giant bees. So this actually still looks pretty good. One of the elephant ears, and I forget exactly what this one's called. Now none of these is supposed to get through the winter, but I had one on the side of the house that actually came back. I think the house kind of warms the soil up and keeps it at a certain level. A little bit warmer than the zone, which says, you know, Virginia 7A, a little warmer than the 15 degrees it says, or thereabouts for that. So here's, he's just barely hanging in here. This was, shoot, I'm going to forget the name of these things. Talked about it in one of my earlier videos. This was a Calabrochia. It was obviously just having all kinds of trouble now. So this is a really cool red. I got another one over there I'll show you in a second. But like I say, this is middle October. Things are heading down. 2 butterfly bushes, the Pugster variety. I mean, this doesn't get anywhere near. So you can see right now it is 2:13, and all of a sudden here comes the shade because the sun goes that way. And it's extremely difficult to find anything that'll just survive this weird condition. Some more New Guineas down there. Vinca, but really didn't do as well as I hoped because it doesn't get enough sun. But this guy, even with way less sun, it should get sun. Here's one of those big bees right there. Still does pretty well. But anyway, they're not looking anywhere near as good as they looked a month ago. So here's this verbena. That's it. Okay, I forgot. That's verbena. Now I didn't prune this at all this year, and I should have, just to get it to branch more as opposed to wander more. But I really like the red heliotrope. 3 of those. I think next year I'm going to plant them all together. So the bees are still enjoying that one, even this late in the year. See, I've already dug some stuff out. Blanket flower. See, there's still some growing, but I'm going to pull those out. They just don't look good enough all season, just for my taste. So I'm going to have to dig that all out. Had some iris that didn't do well there either. This orange coneflower, it's still got one more that's probably going to bloom before it's all over this year. And then I have to decide what something different I'm going to put in here next year. Dwarf lantana, that I didn't pay enough attention to. Still did all right. Get out of the sun there. So that looks pretty cool. Here's another dwarf lantana, and he's looked pretty good all summer. So this one I'm taking in for the winter. So I planted them in these little. Now, why are these all lined up? Because I'm going to put pansies in here for the winter. So I got them half filled with dirt, and when I buy other pansies, that's what's going in there. But this one I'm going to take in for the winter. See, it's even now. It's still just hanging on there. So you just shake the stuff off. And I just bought these, one for the front, one for the back. So perennial evening sun primrose. So looking forward to see what, you know, it stays low to the ground and got those cool yellow blooms. We'll see how it really does. But it should be pretty hardy. These planters, by the way, are PVC. They are not wood, they're not stone or clay, they're PVC. So they come white. White looks dirty really, really quick. So what I do is paint them black. So just take a hose and I can spray it off and it still looks pretty decent. And it never rots, right? So next size up of those, that's 18 square, these two cubes. These are both Lantana. I'm going to have a separate video on those because this is the most incredible Lantana. I've pruned them back like crazy. That's why they look a little scant now. And I want to save those for the winter. In Virginia, they don't officially survive, but these are good down to 15 degrees. So that they're going to go under there with this clear tarp surrounding them to keep cold wind off them, and I might actually put a tiny little heater in there just to keep the temperature above 30. And I bet they make it. I'm pretty sure that what you're staring at here, this monstrosity, is obviously an elephant ear. Okay, this is called Sumo, and that all that growth you see happened this one summer. That's the biggest planter of this variety right there. That's 22-inch cube. Obviously, I got no room around the house to plant something like that, so I said I'll give it a shot in this planter, and boy, like all big plants that grow fast, they'll grow as well as you keep feeding them. So yeah, they say if you are in a warm enough area, it'll get to 10 feet in 2 years. Well, this will definitely not survive the North Virginia winter. And this is like a half-size leaf, you know. There's the full one right there. You know, got one more right here. It'll be the last one coming up, I think, for this year, and that'll probably do it. Cigar plant, dwarf cigar plant. Hummingbird likes that. Actually, hummingbirds like the Lantana also. That's a succulent. I have absolutely no idea what that was. 3 vincas. A wild morning glory just showed up. Was a little bit of a surprise. And last thing I'm going to get into today, this is the marigold bed, or what became the marigold bed. It started out being dahlias, and the dinner plates did not do that well. So I don't know if I'm going to try that again next year or not, but the smaller dahlias, these two little here, did okay. So we got taller growing ones here, and I forget these. I think they're from Burpees. These very bright, you know, real happy with it. They're starting to fall over late in the season, you know. Again, there's my big bees that still hanging out, doing their thing. Okay. So it's looking a little unkempt. You know, as recently as 2 weeks ago, it looked just fine. But some of these are actually running out of water. Here's my favorite marigold. This is Durango Bolero. This is my favorite. Okay, this yellow one really looks like it got crowded out. These are fireballs. Okay, so I had this one yellow and this orange guy. He seems to be hanging in there, and you can see there's a lot of white flies in there, which is, they're not hurting the plant, but they're you don't want to bring them in your house if you bring a plant in. Right? So anyway, that's the marigold bed right there. So this is the state of things October 12th, before I start either pulling stuff out for the winter or bringing stuff in for the winter. Okay, so that's just a quick walkthrough, and in the next video I'll be propagating the begonias. Okay, so I'm off for now. See ya.